Okay, so, may live na ba? Check. Ay, sorry. I didn't know I was already live. So, okay, because I was clicking around. So, hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday afternoon. We're losing the time of day is what it is now. So, I hope you are having. I'm just checking on the FH Moms group on Facebook. 'Cause I didn't, like I said, I didn't know I was already live. So, good afternoon. I hope you are having a great day. I hope you are doing good today. I know for a lot of you, it's the first. First few days that we are on GCQ. I'm from Cebu City, by the way, so it's also for the first few days for us. So, are you ready for today? Our topic today is going to be very interesting, something that I know a lot of you have been looking forward to. So, our topic for today is going to be confident on video. So let me share this right so you all can see it. If you are here, say hi. If you're watching the replay, say hi as well. You can chat below where you're coming from, where you're watching from as well. So our topic today, like I said, is going to be confident on video, from video calls to vlogs. And I'm going to cover that a lot here today. Just a reminder, please, if you have any questions, any suggestions, if I'm talking too fast, that is something I'm working on. So let me know if that's happening. So hello to everyone who is currently watching. Hello to Nick, Bangs, Gina, Maneth, Jane, Sheila, Rachel. Just checking on Samantha, Catherine. I'm seeing a lot of chats, so I won't be able to catch up to everyone. So hello to everyone who's watching. My name is Lai Lacaba. I am the virtual ate. So I'm not actually a mommy. I'm actually 24 years old. In a relationship. I've been in a relationship for 9 years now. I am the CEO of 2x2 Executive Services. I am an international public speaker, and I am the virtual ate. So the virtual ate is the brand that I created to teach millennials or Gen Z, or I think they're called alpha. There's also now an alpha generation, but basically, my coaching clients are about 13 years old to about 30 years old, actually, teaching them how to work from home. So that's actually what I love doing, what I love talking about. So if your kids are inside of the FH Moms group, you can tag them so they can watch this as well. But this is not just for kids. This one is specifically how to gain more confidence. So I was talking to Mommy MK the other day, and I know a lot of you are still struggling. It's a very common thing as a Filipino that it's weird for us to not to, be on camera to do public speaking. And actually 75% of people over the world, public speaking is really scary. But I'm going to be focusing more specifically just on self-confidence, just how to be more confident on video or anywhere else. So before I actually start diving in, I'm going to give a little bit of teaching. This is called the Teachability Index. So to be able to be successful or to be able to learn anything, you have to have two factors. The first one is you need to have the willingness to learn, and then the willingness to take action. Both equal success. And you can see that the symbol there is times. It's a multiplier. If you are 10 on learning, you're really excited to learn, you really want to learn something, and then it's 10 on action, it's like 100%. You're ready to learn. You're actually ready to change your own life. That's how this works. If you are a 10 on learning, you're excited, you want to learn, you want to do everything, but you're actually not willing to take action, then it's a 0. Again, it's a multiplicative effect. If you're just willing to learn something, you're willing to read a book, but you're not willing to take it into the real world, then it's nothing. But if you're a 5 on learning, 5 on action, then you're a 25. You're better than a person who's 0. So I want to ask, are you all ready to be a 10 today? Can I ask you to be a 10 today? 10 on learning and 10 on action. Is that something that I can ask from you all today? Yes? No? You can chat just a 10. Or yes, I'm ready to learn, because this topic, like I said, does not come natural for most Filipinos. Does not come natural with our own, our own culture, the way that we've been built up. So I want to make sure that this actually makes sense, and this actually will help you in the long run when it comes to your confidence. I'm getting a 10. Yes, awesome. Okay, so recap a little bit of what I've already gone through in the last couple of months here in Fhmoms. In April, I taught the soft skills 101 beyond the technical. So we learned that it's always character over skills. Character is you can apply it to any job. Skills is a specific job. So it's always important to know also soft skills and not just the technical or the hard skills. We also learned about the 10 soft skills that you need to have to get long-term clients. It's basically having good written and voice communication. It's having good time management. It's having creativity, problem solving skill, teamwork, of course, adaptability, being flexible enough when it comes to different situations, having self confidence, which is what we're going to be focusing on today. Is having self motivation. When it comes to working online or even when you have a job, you're the one who's pulling yourself out of bed to get to working and to start working. So you need to have the right self motivation. Of course, decision making. If you are someone who is slow when there's a fire, you're not gonna survive long enough. So you need to be good and quick about decision making, and of course, leadership. So these are the 10 soft skills that not just to have long term clients. If you have this as a person, you're much better to succeed more than people who don't have it. If you want to start your own business, this is some of the skills that you also need. But like I said during that webinar, you don't need all 10 right away. You can just pick one that you want to keep working on and then move on to the next, until you have habits within yourself where it's easy for you to shift into that mindset. And then on May, we talked about communication skills for working online. We talked about the best practices if you want to be better with your communication skills, which is to ask questions. So I encourage you to ask questions today, to be open to a lot of different the way people think, because a lot of the time, especially since we're working online, especially since we are working with foreigners or people with different background, you have to be open to their perspective, or else you'll never get anywhere. There's always going to be conflict. So you have to be open. You have to summarize. If, let's say, you're having a meeting and then at the end of it, you summarize, okay, this is what I heard. These are the action steps. That makes you come up with, of course, more confident, because you're able to do that summarization. Of course, helps grow your influence when you're talking to other people. You also want to show up consistently. You want to be the person who is there when they say, oh, I'm going to be at the office, blah, blah, blah. If you show up consistently and on time, then that makes you a better communicator. Of course, being kind. So if you are someone who is generous, if you're someone who kind of empathizes with someone, that it's easy for you to get your point across, rather than if you're trying to steamroll someone. It's still better to be kind. And of course, personalize. What I mean with personalize, if you're sending an email or a chat or a note, it's always good to acknowledge and name the person's name, because then it makes the other person feel like, oh, I matter. I'm being heard right now, and I should pay attention to this. Double checking the message means, of course, just rereading a text message before sending it, making sure you're sending it to the right person, and then practice and get feedback. So, like I said, today our goal is for everyone who's watching this to gain confidence on video. A lot of the time you're not thinking, when you're working online, I've gotten this question a lot of like, is there a job where I don't have to be on video, or I don't even have to be on voice? But a lot of the time you can't avoid it. You can't avoid being on video. You can't avoid jumping on a call with a client because there's a problem. There's a big problem. So it's really important that you are able to have the ability to be on video, to be alert, to be there. And that is our topic. That's what I'm going to be covering today. So before that, I want to ask, what is your current confidence level? So from the rate of 1 to 10, 10 is tomorrow you can do a big TED talk, or you can do a big public speech on stage with thousands of people. And 1 being, I'm too shy, just be kind of in the background. What is your current confidence level? Just want to kind of know, kind of gauge, while I'll drink on my smoothie. I see a 5. Yeah, just rate from 1 to 10. Where are you at on your current confidence level of being just kind of confident in your own skin? See a 6, I see a 1. Okay, that's okay. Everyone starts with a 1, unless some for a lot of kids, they grew up with parents who wanted them to be really confident, so they're a little bit more outspoken. I say a 6, it's 8. Awesome. Okay, so thank you so much for giving me a little bit of context of where you're at. And hopefully by the end of this, I'm really hoping that by the end of this, it's going to be even just one level higher. If you're right now a 6, I want it to hopefully be a 7. If you're right now 1, even just 1.5 would be a win for me. So I'm looking forward to hopefully getting you to that point of being a little level higher than where you are now. So thank you so much for everyone who is commenting their level current level of confidence. So why do you actually need confidence? Why you may be even teaching this? Why is this something that you need to have? So first is, of course, it's easier to make connections. It's easier to make friends. For a lot of the time, when you're too shy, when you're too, in your own kind of shell, you can't really make friends. You can't really make connections. You can't also connect with someone. You can remember when you were 12, 13 years old, you have a crush, and because you're not confident enough, you're not able to talk to him, talk to her. You're not able to acknowledge like, hey, hi. Diba? That's just a young kid thing of like, hi crush. It's your best friend is more confident of calling out your crush than you are. So it's kind of like that. So it's easier to make connections if if you're more confident, then your crush was like, they're like, hey, hi, I exist. So it's easier to make connections talaga when you have the right confident. Even you don't have to be overly confident. If you have the right, actual base of confidence. You're not overcompensating. It's actual your real confidence. It also makes you engaging, of course. Right now, because I rested, I actually went 8 hours of sleep because I knew I needed it for today. It makes me more engaging. You guys are engaging with me right now. You're commenting. You're, giving me a lot of love on Facebook. You're also liking the YouTube video. So it makes me more engaging because I'm bringing in this level of confidence. You're wanting to look at me. You're wanting to listen to me. So when you have the right kind of confidence, it just you're already making connections. Plus, you're an engaging person. It also keeps you motivated. Of course, if you are someone who doesn't believe in herself, if you're someone who doesn't see a lot of the things that you can bring to the table, you can't really stay motivated. You keep wanting to have other things to keep you going. But when you have the right self-confidence, you can be motivated even without anyone cheering you on, even without anyone pushing you on, because you are self-motivated. Next is, of course, it helps with your productivity. Kind of like what I just said. If you don't believe in yourself, if you don't have the right self-confidence, you're not really productive, diba? You're kind of like, oh, another day. I don't really want to do it. Uh, I'm too scared to be rejected, diba? That's what happens when you don't have self-confidence. So it really helps with your productivity. And then, of course, it helps with setting boundaries, with saying yes, with having the power to say no, with saying that this is what I'm comfortable with, and that's it. If you try to push, I will not be here for you. So it's being able to just know what your strengths and weaknesses are. It's knowing that no one can really push you to do something that you don't want to do, right? That's what confidence is. That's what I know a lot of you amazing mommies are teaching their kids, is to be able to set boundaries with people, with saying no when it needs to be said no, and also knowing when something is an opportunity for you that you can say yes to. Okay. And then it also grows your influence with people, of course. Like I was saying, right now, because I'm confident, you are more look. You're listening to me. You are. I'm growing my influence. You're believing what I'm saying because, again, I am confident. I'm exuding confidence today. So it really helps when you have just a little bit, even just level 3, level 5 self-confidence. You're already building yourself up to that point. Next is then where do you need confidence? What portions of your life do you actually need confidence? So first is job interviews. I know, I think yesterday or a few days ago, you did just a panel discussion on job interviews. And it's I've had a lot of job interviews that it was on Zoom, it was video calls, because I also I still help hire a lot of people inside of our company, where if someone was too shy and I could not get anything, like I would ask a question, and then they would just give me a one-worded answer. Or if they were just too kind of like not even looking at the camera or not looking at me, if it was a one-on-one interview, then it's kind of harder for me to be confident to hire them. It's like kind of hard for me to be confident to know that there's someone who can handle the job. Because if they're too shy with me just on a job interview, then what if I actually put them in front and have them start working? Will they actually work? Will they actually succeed? So it's really important that during job interviews, you can also build up to becoming more confident. Of course, work presentations or even work meetings. If you are presenting an idea to your boss or to your workmates, like, hey, I think this can make us work a little faster. I think this can help us work a little better. So if you have that already, then it's easier for you to, of course, get solicitations, get influence, get the yes that you need to move things forward. So it's really, again, really important that you have this where you are confident enough to get up like, hey, this is my idea, this is what I need to do, I think this will be really good for the company. Then you can succeed faster with that. Of course, networking. Imagine, without without COVID, without everything else, you're going to a networking event, you're meeting a lot of people right now. Even in the chats, you are kind of networking. Your people are seeing your name, I'm seeing your name, so you are able to kind of reach out to people again, make friends, make that important connection that can maybe change your life. So imagine that you're at a big networking event, and then you are meeting like a really big boss who you actually want to work for. If you don't have confidence, you're probably not gonna get that person's attention. So that networking is a really great place to also practice your self-confidence. If you want to be able to be more confident, that's where I practiced a lot before. So that's one of the places you need confidence. Next is then, of course, public speaking. Speaking of, by the way, Mommy MK and I will be speaking at Freedom Summit. So if you have not signed up for it, you can check out the links with Mommy MK's profile picture right now, actually. So if you all want to watch that, we're both going to be speakers on that. So just inviting you, just a little bit of a plug. By the way, hi to everyone who's still joining us, to everyone who's coming into the live. If you're watching the replay, just feel free to comment below. If you have any questions, if there's anything that's not clear, if I'm going too fast, let me know. Next is then, of course, pursuing your goals. If you are not confident within yourself when you're pursuing your goals, it's harder to get there. Whether you are starting your own business, whether you are planning out or pursuing your long-term plans, or even going on travels. If you're too scared and you're in front of an immigration officer and you're too scared to even answer them, it can get a little bit harder. It's not that you can't get in the country, but you just won't be able to breeze through as easily as a person who was more confident. If you're not confident enough in pursuing your own business, in being the person who can hire people, who can help move people towards a certain goal, then it's going to be harder, right? Who here actually wants to start a business? Just out of curiosity, who here has the plan to start a business or wants to go traveling after the lockdown, when we can actually start traveling? Just say yes, or you can also comment your business idea, and of course you can also comment where you actually want to travel also, because that would be just super nice to able to travel. Sorry, I was checking, making sure I'm checking also the Facebook Live. Just make sure to let me know, and I'll be more than interested in knowing where you actually want to go. Okay, so for a lot of you, you've known that I've actually been vlogging on tips on how to have an online career as the virtual ate. So this is something I've been doing. But I actually started with last year, like almost 1 year to, not almost, as of June 1, as of Monday, I actually started with very unedited videos, with me just holding my phone like this while I was walking, while I was about to go to bed, or while I was in pain. But I recorded one video a day for 3 months. That's how I was able to gain this level of confidence. When I started out, I was so scared to get in front of a camera, because last 2 years ago, we filmed a course for foreigners on how to work, how to have online employees. That's what we started with 2XU. So I had to be on camera because I was teaching specific parts of the course, and my boss was really tall, American guy, had to shove me in front of the camera just to have me start speaking. And then I was so nervous, I was so scared. And it was just on like a phone camera that I was talking to. It wasn't even really a professional setup. And I was already so scared. But this is what I did. I recorded one video a day for 3 months. So I have over like 100 videos on my Facebook. It was really crazy. Every day I would go on my phone. I would talk to myself. You can see here, like my topics were breaking habits and rules, what I learned today, overcoming my triggers. It's a lot of really random things, but again, that's how I built up my confidence, how I gained my confidence. I recorded one video a day for 3 months. You see me nowadays with my big YouTube channel, but I started with videos on Facebook where I was literally talking about anything that I could think of at the end of the day, because I challenged myself to record one video a day for 3 months. So are you all ready to learn how to gain confidence? You already know the why you need to gain confidence and where it's applicable. Are you actually ready to learn how to gain confidence? Is this something that you want to actually level up? Do you actually want to shift from being a level 5 or level 7 into level 6 or level 8? Is this something that you all want? So I will be sipping on my drink again as I wait for your replies. Okay. Okay, so I'm seeing about a couple of yeses. Awesome. Okay, so what the first thing that you need on how to actually gain confidence is you need a why. So your why do you actually want to do things? What is the motivation behind what you do every day? What is the reason why you get up every day? What is the reason why you're wanting to learn online or wanting to start a business? You want to know what is what is behind you, what is behind why you're doing what you're doing, and that's super important. So how do you find out? So you ask yourself a bunch of different questions, and the first one that I like to ask is, what is your big hairy audacious goal? So big hairy audacious goal, it sounds funny, and I love using this every time. It's basically the question of what is your dream or what is your goal in life, but I like calling it the big hairy audacious goal. What is a goal that sounds so ridiculous to other people but actually makes perfect sense to you? Because that's what it matters. It has to make sense to you. So what is something that if you were given all of the opportunities, let's say you won the lottery 5 times. I love asking this question during job interviews. Let's say you won the lottery 5 times, and then so you've already put outside savings, you've already put aside money for your kids' future, you've already put aside money for travels, you've already put aside money for charity. I know a lot of people say charity, but what else would you do with the rest of the money? Let's say you've already taken care of what the usual things. What else would you spend your money on? What would you actually build? What do you actually want to create in life? So for me, and I wanna show this really quickly. For me, my big hairy audacious goal, I'm gonna take you around my office, is to build a agency in New York. That's my big hairy audacious goal. It's to build a outsourcing agency in New York where I hire from the Philippines, so Filipinos don't need to leave the country to be able to have good jobs. So that's my own BHAG. It's called a BHAG. Shortcut of that is BHAG, your big, hairy, audacious goal. So what is your own, again, if you had all the resources, if you had all the opportunities, if you had the right connections, what would your life look like? You know, if a different way that I ask this is, if you were on your deathbed already, what were the things you wanted to have achieved before you got to that point? So what is your big, hairy, audacious goal, or your BHAG? Next is, you want to ask, what are you passionate about? What is something that actually, gets you up in the morning? What's actually something that inspires you to keep going when, again, no one is cheering you on, when no one is actually pushing you to get to your goal? So what are you passionate about? So For example, let's say for me years ago, my passion until now, sometimes my passion was writing. I love being able to create fictional characters. I love being able to write poems. I love being able to turn an idea into words, and I still do. So that was what I was passionate about when I was younger. Now it's more about being able to teach other Filipinos how to work online and how to succeed working online. So that's now my passion. So your passions can evolve, but right now, to be able to gain and build your confidence, what are you passionate about? What is something that you are inside of you, burns brightly? If you already had a fire within you, what is something that you keep putting in there to keep that flame going? What are you passionate about? That's one way that you can find out what your why is. What are your strengths? What is something that you're good at? So this is another interview question. What are your strengths and weaknesses? But you actually have to find that out. You have to know that. You have to get to know yourself better to know what your strengths are, right? So this is something that is part of, again, figuring out your why, figuring out what makes I'm going to look through the people who are commenting. What makes Julnell? What makes Rochelle? What makes you? What is something that is a strength for you? So for me, I've built on the strength of public speaking. I'm actually 100% introvert. I can be an ambivert during speeches or when I go on lives, but I'm actually just an introvert. I hide. After this, because I've been talking to you for 30 minutes now, after this I will go and and stay in my room, because I'm in my room, and like just read a book or recharge, because I need that. So you have to know what your strengths are to be able to build on them, to build confidence that these are your strengths. And then, of course, what are your values? What makes you you? What is something that you value in life? For me, I value curiosity. I value honesty. I value transparency and growth. So, again, this is kind of figuring out who you really are, like listening to who you are and not having to put anyone else's input but your own. It's listening to who you are just by yourself, again, without anyone else's input. You're just listening to yourself. So hopefully you have a little bit of an idea of your why. I would love to know if you already kind of have a little bit of idea of it. Rose says, "What keeps me going? My bills." That's true, but that's not a why, because if your bills go away, let's say, that was the exercise. If you had everything taken care of, what would you do with your life? Gigi says it's reading and successful freelance work. That's awesome. So feel free to, if you've thought of your why, if you've thought of what keeps you going, feel free to just chat it, and I would love to pick them out and highlight it with different people. Okay, so that is the first thing that you need, is then your why. The next thing is, and will sound weird if you've never done this before, is to create your goal self. How do you do that, and what is that? So imagine the you from 20 years from now, when you've achieved your BHAG, your big, hairy, audacious goal. Imagine that person. Kind of close your eyes. I'm like, okay, so this person is, dressed really nice, has a great apartment in New York City. So you're kind of building out that person. You're making them a full character, a full fictional character, but you know that it's going to become you. So imagine the you 20 years from now, when you're uber successful, when you have all of the connections that you need, you're successful in your business or whatever endeavor that you have. Imagine that you, and kind of building that person out and making them a little bit more real. And then give her a name. Give her a separate name from what you are, or you can name her also after you. So for me, my goal self, I've called her Anne Maverick. I love the name Anne Maverick. I've actually used it as a pen name before when I was writing more stories. Basically, Anne Maverick. My name is Leanne, so I took an N from Leanne. Maverick, I've always loved that word. Maverick is someone who finds shortcuts, who can create things out of nothing. So I love that word already. So that is my goal self. I want to become Anne Maverick. She's a person who already has this empire in New York City. I'm giving her like all of the stories. She's super healthy. She goes for a run every day. She's confident within herself. So she is my goal self. She's the person I am building my current self towards. And then this is one where it has helped so much, where write her name on a mirror, on your mirror that you look at every day, because then you're reminded of her. You're reminded of the person you want to become. It doesn't have to be your mirror, by the way. It can be if you have a vision board, if you have some sort of thing that you look at every day. She could be your desktop on your laptop. Also, just make sure that you have reminders of who your goal self is. You're kind of reminding that you are becoming someone else. You're not just going to be this person forever and ever and ever. You're someone who is going towards something. So that's why you want to create your goal self, name her, and then put her name on a mirror. And then if you are making a decision or you're about to take a risk, you ask yourself, what would, for me, Anne, do? You want to ask, what would if this person, because this person in your head is super successful, has what you want, they've been where you are because they are you, what would they do if they were in this situation? So let's say, for example, earlier, this is so funny because I literally just made this decision because as I finished up polishing my slides this morning, I've been a little bit stressed, kind of lacking sleep. But today, like I said, I did go 8 hours of sleep. But I was like, okay, do I want donuts or do I want something healthy? So that was a decision that I was making, very small. But then I asked, what would Anne Maverick do? What would Anne do? What would she order? And she ordered a apple and banana no sugar shake. So it's a little bit, still has a little bit of sugar from the fruit, but it's sugar free. So you have to keep in mind that you are becoming this person, and you have to make them a part, make sure that they are part of your life. So that's why when you're creating your goal self, you would ask, what would blank do in this situation? What would blank do in this situation, between choosing a donut or choosing a healthy shake? And Maverick chose a healthy shake, so I made that decision. So it becomes easier for you moving forward when you're going through something hard, because you've already created in your head the person that you actually want to become. Okay, so once you have your goal self, it would be awesome if you would celebrate your wins. So number one is, no win is too small. Your win, like this one, the fact that I chose sugar free over a donut is a win for me, because that's not something that is easy for me. That's something that's natural for me. So I count that as a win. So no win is too small. So a win is something that actually made you feel good. It could be a decision or something that you did that made you feel good. And again, no win is too small. Inside of our own company, we have a win board. We actually have a big cork board where people can just pin pictures of their wins, and no win is too small. It could be, again, even just booking a trip. People would pin their tickets on the board, so everyone can see and everyone can celebrate with them. So you have to celebrate your wins, because then you want to document them. You want to keep that in mind, like, oh, this is something that I did. This is something that I achieved at. This is something that I kicked butt at. This is something that made me feel good. So for example, for me, and I keep taking you all on a trip into my office. But for example, for me, my own win board is right here. So I have pictures of all of the places that I've been to, all of the places that I've traveled to, and I keep it there because it reminds me of the things that I was able to do, reminds me of the things that I've been able to, places that I've been able to go to, and also have like tickets of the places that when I flew in different places. Of course, I haven't flown anywhere in the last 3 months, but it's a good reminder for me to know what I've been able to do, because it's it's reminding yourself that you're never starting from scratch, because you never are. Even if you are switching to a new job, even if you're switching to an online career, you're not starting from scratch. You're not starting from nowhere. You already have wins in your life. You've already had achievements in your life that got you here, right? You've already had some things that, from your past, from the things that you were able to achieve, that again got you here, that got you to becoming the person that you are today. So you have to remind yourself of this. So I want you to comment below, what is a recent win that you were able to do or able to achieve? What is something that was good, that was awesome, that felt good? Make sure to comment it below. I would love, love, love to read them, to feature them also. So feel free to comment that, whether you're watching live or you're watching on the replay. I would love to see it. And then so that is it of on celebrating your wins. I want to kind of wrap it up of getting the importance of celebrating the small stuff, not waiting until you had a 10,000 peso bonus before celebrating the fact that you actually achieved this small thing that then gave you the 10,000 peso the bonus. So it's celebrating the small things that moves you forward to becoming your goal self, that moves you forward to becoming the person that you want to be, or the life that you want to live. Okay, next is then mindful body language. So a lot of you know that when it comes to self-confidence, body language, a lot of it helps. So how you carry yourself matters. You all know this. This is something that is talked about over and over in school, is that how you carry yourself matters. If I was right now slumping, if I was like, okay, today we're going to be talking about self-confidence. If I was doing that, then you would listen to me less, right? So how you carry yourself matters when it comes to your body language. So you want to stand or sit up straight when you're talking to people, even if you're just talking to a person one-on-one or on a video call. It already helps. So one way that I do it, and this is going to be funny but also relatable at the same time, is my feet can't touch the floor because I'm short. I'm only 4'11", and most Filipinos are 4'11". So when I'm sitting straight, I know I'm sitting straight if my foot can't touch the ground. So that's a funny trick for me to keep in mind, if I'm actually sitting straight or standing up straight. Standing up straight, then it's easy. It's just imagining that I had a stick behind me and keeping my back straight, chest out, tummy in. So that's reminding myself of that. And of course, again, for sitting up straight, if I'm like right now, because I'm sitting up straight, my foot is not touching the floor. It's hanging. Well, that's for me. So you have to find, again, within yourself, what is something that is a marker in your head that you're able to do this. Of course, next is breathe deeply. This is something I forget, and that's why I keep drinking for my drink, because it's an excuse for me to breathe. But to be able to be more confident, you have to breathe deeply. So it's doing meditation, it's doing yoga, it's doing something that's mindful and good for you. That's something that feels good for you also. So someone is saying, me too, I can't reach the ground if I'm sitting straight. Yes. Filipina height for the win. Neza says, watching your webinar is a win. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Neza. And yeah, Rodalyn says, I can't reach the ground if I'm sitting straight. That is #relate for everyone. So thank you so much for not helping me not feel so alone when it comes to not being able to reach the ground when I'm sitting straight. Next is then use gestures. So you've been seeing me doing this, like being so dramatic. When you use too much gestures, and it's not helpful, but when you use the right amount of gestures, like, hey guys, how are you doing? You don't want to overuse it, but it also helps with your own confidence, because you're moving your body. You're not sitting straight and like, this is my speech for today. This is amazing. This is great. Then it doesn't feel like doesn't look like I'm comfortable, which makes you feel uncomfortable, right? So using the right kind of gestures, using the right movement of your body, it helps becoming more confident, becomes more comfortable within your own skin when you're doing that. Next is then smile. So you've been seeing me smile, you've been seeing me laugh with myself, you've been seeing me giggle a little bit, because it does help make other people also feel comfortable. But if this was a more, of course, if this was a serious, like, I'm in a board meeting, I wouldn't be smiling a lot. I would be smiling a little bit when I'm making a point, but I won't be giggling. I wouldn't be laughing. So this is something that you have to use in moderation. But smiling helps you build confidence, and again, help other people feel comfortable with you being there, with you being in front of them. So that's why you have to keep in mind to smile. Next is then eye contact. Right now, I'm looking at my camera, looking at you. Sometimes I look out because I'm trying to think of an idea, but it's important to make eye contact. If someone can't make eye contact with me, then it makes me a little bit nervous of like, okay, why can't you look me in the eye? So if you're looking down, if I'm doing this speech, like, oh, hello, hi, everyone. So today is about confidence on video. Diba? It's weird. You're not gonna take me seriously, diba? So you have to really keep that in mind of smiling, making eye contact, using gestures, the right amount of gestures, breathing deeply, standing and sitting up straight, even if you can't reach the floor, that's okay. And kind of just remembering that how you carry yourself matters. Next is then you need to keep learning new things. So how can you be confident if you're not confident in your ability to keep learning, to keep growing? It's harder to be confident if you're not opening your brain up for new things, if you're not opening your brain up for new perspectives, or just new things in life, new ideas in life. So it's better to keep learning. So you want to create a list of the things that you want to learn, skills. This could be soft skills, the ones that I've talked about earlier. It could be something really funny and weird. It could be you want to learn how to do skiing, or like going to the snow and skiing. That's just a weird one, but surfing for the Philippines because we don't have snow here. So it could literally be anything, but seeing yourself, seeing that you have something that you are working on, something that you want to learn, motivates you. It puts confidence of like, I'm growing, I am here, I'm a person who is taking charge of her life. I'm someone who's making sure that, I don't leave this earth without having to make my mark. It makes me feel more confident. So you want to create the list of things that you want to learn, and then you also want to schedule your study time. You want to schedule when you actually want to learn this. So for example, for me, I also always have a stack of books. I always have a stack of books that I'm always reading. I'm always flipping through. You can see a few of my bookmarks there. These are the ones that I'm currently looking at because, last couple of months I haven't been able to buy a lot of books because there's no bookstores open. But that's how I learn. I schedule it. I have it where every morning I try to at least watch 2 YouTube videos about the thing that I want to learn, or read at least 10 pages of the book that I want to read. So I always try to schedule of when do I actually want to learn this. Next is then you want to create notes that you can easily flip through. And I should have this. Give me a moment. I'm gonna show you my notes because it's really fun the way I do it. Okay, so you want to make notes because, of course, you want to remind yourself a year later or 6 months from now what you learned, right? Especially if you haven't been able to put them into action. That's why our first thing was, you have to be willing to learn and willing to take action. So I have here, and I used to have this on my wall. Whenever I'm learning something new, I would put them on my wall. But I have Post-it notes. I still have a lot of them here that I haven't been able to organize in the last couple of days, but I have Post-it notes. I have the notes that is coming from what I just studied. So this is from a audio called Know the Score. So, I have like the favorite quotes that I have. I have like almost anything. Like it could be a PDF that I found really interesting. It could be a audio. It could be a YouTube video that I really liked. I'll kind of make Post-its, and right now I've changed actually my system. This used to be my system before that I really liked. I now put them on my notebook so I can flip through them really easily. So that's my own system. So this is actually one of the books that I recommend if you want to be more confident. Is this book called How to Win Friends and Influence People? The first thing is is this amazing quote that I love, that any fool can criticize, condemn, or complain. You are not a fool. So that is one way that you can keep yourself confident, is knowing that you can't just keep criticizing yourself or others, because you are not a fool. So that is my system. So you have to figure out your own system. She says that I'm also a sticky notes person. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing my love for sticky notes. So this is something that you want to, again, for me, it's now easy for me. If I wanted to reread How to Win Friends and Influence People, I'll just go through these notes. It's easy for me to reread something because it's all in my notes. Next is then take action. It can't just be like, it can't just be something that's just on your notebook. It can't just be notes that you're flipping through. You have to take a concept, take an idea from the thing that you learned, and put it into real life, put it into reality, not just having it, again, stay in your notebook or your sticky notes. It has to be something that becomes real to you. And it doesn't have to be real for anyone else. It has to just be real to you. And then, of course, stay curious. Like I said earlier, it's actually one of my values, curiosity. So you have to stay curious, because then if you're not curious, you're stagnant, right? If you're not curious, if not, you're not willing to learn new things, you're kind of just stuck where you are. You're kind of just going to keep doing that for the rest of your life, because you're not opening yourself up to new things. You're not opening yourself up to being curious. So you have to really keep learning. This is a key way when it comes to becoming more confident with yourself. Because if you're not even curious about getting to know yourself, it's so hard to be confident, because you don't know what to be confident about. You're just, if you're gonna, a lot of people say, fake it till you make it. I don't actually recommend that, because you have to build yourself up. You can't just keep faking who you are, or else you'll never know who you are. So you have to stay curious to seeing how far you'll go, how far you're willing and able to go in life, and not just faking till you make it, because then you'll never actually know who you are and who yourself is. And then do one thing that scares you. I love this advice always, and it jars me, because sometimes I do. It's being confident isn't an 10 out of 10 always feeling thing. It's sometimes you have bad days, you have sad days. There's things that break your heart. There's things that kind of make you feel that nothing matters, and it's okay, but you have to pull yourself out. So that's why number 6 is do one thing that scares you. The scary thing could literally be leaving your house. Again, not during COVID, but doing one thing that motivates you, like, oh no, I have control over my life, I have power over my life, I can control how I react to things, how I feel about things, because I am my own person. So when you do one thing that scares you, you're taking back that power. You're taking back, I am this person, I don't need to be scared about this thing. So you're motivating yourself, you're building your confidence when you do this, when you do one thing that scares you. And again, it doesn't have to be a super scary thing, it doesn't have to be bungee jumping somewhere. It's just one thing that normally would scare you, but you're able to come over it, making yourself go beyond it. Okay. Yeah. Says creating your list make things organized as well. Yes. It's also, like I said, for me, it's easy for me to flip through all of my notes because it's all here. So when you have your notes organized in a good way, then it's easy for you to relearn them also. Okay. So next that you think you need is self-care. So you probably have heard this self-care over and over again because it's such a popular concept and I believe in it, but you have to do self-care in the right way. It is not involve going to the spa or getting massages or buying yourself the thing that you've always wanted to buy. That is not truly self-care. Self-care comes from within, not from getting outside love, outside appreciation or acceptance. It's coming from you. So how do you actually do self-care to be able to gain confidence? It's taking care of your body. It's doing exercise. It's watching what you eat. It's grooming and dressing yourself nicely. So even when we're working from home, even when we're just laying on the bed, it's like for me, I put in the effort of always putting on clothes that I would go out into. If I was going to have a meeting in person, that's what I'll be wearing, because it does help you. It does help you kind of get yourself out of it. If you are kind of sickly, if you're kind of always feeling not good about yourself, it's hard to be confident. It's hard to build on that confidence to keep going, diba? Mommies, diba? The mommies, titas, and atas here who are watching, if you know this feeling of when you're not taking care of yourself physically, it's hard to keep going. If you have a headache every day because you're not taking care of your eyes, right? You're looking at your computer for too long. For me, I have protective glasses. It actually doesn't have any prescription. It doesn't have latong grado, but I wear it so I don't have strain on my eyes when I'm looking at my computer for long periods of time. So you really have to take care of your body, because if that goes, you can't work. If 2 weeks ago, I think I had carpal tunnel. It was really bad. Yeah, carpal tunnel is basically parang na-sprain yung wrists ko. It was really painful to even touch my keyboard. So I couldn't really work. So that's why you really have to take care of your body. I had to take vitamin C. I had to take, I had to drink a lot of water, and then 2 days later I was okay. So that was good. But for 2 days, I was kind of incapacitated. One day, my right hand would work, so I would use my right hand. The next day, only my left hand would work. And there was a day where both hands, I was wrapping it in bandage because I wasn't taking care of myself. So you really have to keep that in mind. I'm now better, obviously. I can now move my hands. I was able to create this presentation for you today. But it's really important, because then you can't earn money if you're not able to move your body around, if you're not able to carry yourself. You're not able to build your own confidence with a body that you are not happy with. So you have to take care of your body. Next is then take care of your mental health. So I am a big, really, really big, don't want to say advocate, because I'm actually someone who really loves talking about mental health. But it's basically when you take care of your mental health, when you get to know yourself. And I said this earlier, it's hard to be confident about something that you don't know. So it's hard to be confident about someone that you don't know. So you have to get to know yourself. It's getting to know your limits. It's getting to know your own, again, your strengths and weaknesses. It's getting to know what are the things that you can actually do and what you can't do. So it's getting to know, okay, who is Leanne? Who's this person? Who's this person that I look at in the mirror after I take a bath? Who's this person that I am feeding? Because I'm literally feeding myself. Who is this person that I'm taking care of? So it's harder to take care of yourself mentally if you don't know yourself. It's also accepting negative thoughts. Now, I know this is a little bit weird to hear, because usually at this part you say it's thinking positively. But taking the time to accept that you have negative thoughts and that it's okay is so much better than forcing yourself to think positively, right? Okay, when you're pushing yourself like, no, I'm not going to think about this really sad thing that happened to me. I'm just going to focus on the positive, focus on the positive. You're eventually going to burn yourself out, because you're not accepting your reality. You have to accept the reality in order to change it. It can't just be pushing yourself to be positive, to be good, to be confident. It has to go hand in hand. So it's accepting a negative thought when it happens, and then deciding afterwards what to do what to do then. Now that you've accepted that this is your reality, that this is something that you're thinking of, what do you want to do then? Next is then watching your self-talk. Now, what I mean with self-talk is a lot of the time we do talk to ourselves, diba? We look at ourselves like, oh, Nian, you look so good. I love this hair that you're doing. This is such a good experiment. You're looking good today, girl. Diba? We talk to ourselves a lot of the time. But it's not usually positive. Sometimes you say, oh, you're looking a little bit chubby today. Maybe you should not, maybe you should work out more, or doing something that, again, the way that you talk to yourself really matters. So you have to watch your self talk. If you're being too harsh, you wanna question, like, why am I thinking this way? Why am I feeling this way? Why is this something that I'm pushing myself to think? So you really have to watch your self talk. If you're my friend, and a lot of my friends will testify to this, is when they first start being my friend, when they have a really negative self-talk, I actually call them out on it. I say, hey, you're doing that again. You're talking to yourself negatively again. So you have to watch what you're thinking about. So you have to, again, watch your self-talk. Watch how you talk to yourself, because it's really important that you do so, because then you can't really you can't build your confidence on something that you don't feel confident about. If you keep telling that you are not enough, if you're telling yourself that you're not a good person, if you're telling yourself all of these negative things, and then you're living up to it, because that's what happens. If you say that you are this thing, you are probably going to be living up to that reality. So you have to watch your self-talk. Next is then practice gratitude. So I love this because it's easy. It's actually really easy to practice gratitude. Today, I am so grateful for all 109, 100, because it's always changing, 120 people who are watching this. I'm grateful for you for being here, for learning, for taking notes. I'm grateful that you're asking questions. I'm grateful that you are engaging and commenting and letting me know how you are. That is for me. That is how I'm being able to do this. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful that you are here. I'm grateful for the beautiful day that I have. I'm grateful for my sugar-free shake. So you have to practice gratitude because it's easier to shift into that mindset of being more confident and happy with what you have. So you want to practice gratitude because then it's easy for yourself to remind yourself of the good things. Because even when something's bad happening to you, even when you're going through grief, you're going through heartache, you're going through something that you don't tell other people about because it's even hard to process, just practicing gratitude reminds you that there's still good things in the world. Okay, and then be mindful again of your thoughts and feelings. So I already kind of said this a lot with self-talk and your mental health, but you have to be mindful of how you think and how you feel. It's not enough that you are kind of just going through the day. It's also good that you take note if you're feeling sad at this moment. You're like, okay, I accept that I'm feeling sad. Why am I feeling sad? Again, this really builds up your confidence because you're getting to know this person, that who you are, because you're going to be in this as this person for the next 30, 50 years. So you better get to know that person, right? You have a relationship with yourself. So being mindful of your thoughts, of your feelings. You don't have to change them. You don't have to shift them. You just have to accept, and then asking yourself, do I want to do anything about this? Do I want to change this? Do I want to make this better, or do I want to make this worse? Because it is up to you. Self-care, this part, being mindful of your thoughts and feelings, is really important. Okay, so last one is to create habits. You want to create habits that actually help you become more confident. So it could be doing one video a day. Like I said, it could be drinking healthy, or eating healthy, or putting in exercise, putting in learning, putting in time for you to grow yourself. Those are all really important things. So you have to create habits that fit well with you. You don't have to, again, input things from other people just because they say this is the best thing. So one funny example is I tried working out in the morning as my early morning habit. I would fall asleep every time afterwards. Like I would, because usually, after I work out, I try to meditate, to kind of be mindful. I would want to go back right to sleep. So then I work out at the evening, because then I kind of get a second energy before I go to bed. So I can work a little bit before I pass out. So you have to find habits that work for you and your body, because everyone's bodies is different. Everyone's mindset is different. So you have to find habits that work for you, because then even when you don't feel good, even when you don't feel okay, habits get you going. Habits get you up in the morning. And also habits help you observe yourself. So for example, for me, I know I'm not in a good state of mind if I'm not able to journal that day, if I'm not able to meditate that day, if I'm having trouble concentrating on one thing, I know I'm not okay. So it's a good way to check on yourself on the way to self-care. Okay, and this is the last one when it comes to building your self-confidence. Again, I encourage you to, if you're watching this, comment if you have any questions, if I am going too fast, if something is not clear. Thank you so much, Angel. Thank you for telling me I'm doing a great job. I appreciate you, and thank you for that. Rai says, exercise to keep healthy. It's one of my hobbies. That's awesome. Especially, I love that you said hobby, because that means that it's something that you like doing. So that's good. Again, keep commenting. I love seeing all of your comments. I love seeing, what you think of, and what you're, if you have any questions, I would love to see them. Okay, so last one is practice. So practicing is talking to yourself in the mirror. If you have a presentation coming up, or even for your interview, even for your job interview, talking to a mirror and asking yourself all of the common questions that they're going to ask you anyways, like, what is your goal? What are your strengths and your weaknesses? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? You know that these are questions that they're going to ask you anyway. So talk to yourself in the mirror and look at how you are presenting yourself. If you're looking confident, if you're looking good, if you're smiling, if you're breathing, because then it's easier for you when the real thing is actually there. So you want to practice talking to yourself in the mirror. If you have a speech coming up, that also helps, because of course you are seeing yourself what you look like. You are not at the back of your head scared of what you look like, because you've already practiced this a lot. So you want to talk to yourself in the mirror. It's joining a Toastmasters club. So this was one that really helped me before, even though I didn't really think that I would become a public speaker. I actually, honestly, before, when I joined the Toastmasters Club, I actually joined it because I was being trained as a CEO for the company, and they said you should join the Toastmasters Club. I'm like, okay. So that helped me be confident when I'm on stage. It helped me be more confident when I'm just even speaking to people one on one, when I'm giving my team members feedback, when I'm helping them out, like, hey, you did really well on this, or hey, I think you should work on this. Joining Toastmasters was a really great help when it came to that. And then, like I said, maybe do one video a day. That was me. That was my own challenge to myself. But if you want to be more confident with yourself, with video, with doing vlogs, if that's something you want to do, then you wanna try doing something every day that scares you. Trying something that you don't have to post them. Again, that was me. I posted them on Facebook. But you when you're doing one video a day, you're looking at yourself. You're looking at this person that you are getting to know. You're talking, and then you want to replay. Maybe you want to see what you can do better, what you could improve, what you can do when you do it again. So it's when you're doing one video a day, it's just getting fast feedback on yourself. Okay. And then you want to look for mentors to follow. You want to look at the people who you want to become. Again, you're reminding yourself of your goal self. Again, for me, it's Anne Maverick. But you also want to look at mentors who have what you want and have been where they are. So it's really important for those two factors. When you're looking for a mentor, they need to have had, they need to have had the thing that you actually want in life. So it can't just be, if they're going to be your mentor, they're going to have to be someone who has achieved something that you want to achieve, right? So that makes sense. But they also have to have the second question of, have they been where you are? So funny example would be, who's something who, okay, my usual example is Donald Trump, because Donald Trump is someone who's really rich, and a lot of people really want to be rich, but he hasn't been where we are. He's not an Asian person who started from scratch. He's someone who already had a family business. So he's not someone that we can aspire to. So you have to look at both sides when you're looking for a mentor. It's someone who has what you want, has the whatever measure of success that you have with that person, and they have to have been where you are. If you are starting from scratch, or even if you have investors coming in, you're looking at someone who also had investors, because then there are people that you can follow. There are people that you can take seriously also. Okay, so, and then, I forgot that was it. So that was it for practice, for all different ways of how you can be more confident with yourself. So I want to ask, before I go into my next one, what has so far been your own favorite? What has been something that you took away that was really good from this? Because again, I make all of this because I love being able to help you out, being able to see that this is something that does raise your confidence level, even just by one. So Bernadette says, I also used to record my voice. That's awesome. You don't have to do video. You can also just record your voice, just so you can hear yourself, just so you can get to know who you are. You talk like that. It's no longer very clear and easy to understand. Thank you. I try. She's someone I look. She was my, actually, when I was younger, she was one of my mentors. I really wanted to sing like this before, when I was 5 years old. So that's a really high compliment for me. Thank you. Okay, so to wrap it up, I have a homework/challenge, because again, I want to make sure that this helped you gain your confidence level. If at the start of this webinar you were a 7 or a 6 or a 1, even a 1, that's okay. I want to raise that level up, even just a little bit, even just 1.5. That would be good. That would, because then you're on the way, you're on the steps to go up. So, are you ready to for this homework, for our homework for today? Are you ready? I'm drinking because it's really. I'm now going to switch to my water because this is getting. It's not that cold anymore. So I have my 2 liter water bottle here. So yes, are you ready for the homework and challenge that I'm going to give you today? Okay, awesome. This is how I take care of my body. I drink 4 liters of water every day. Okay, so our homework and challenge for today is film yourself. Of course, because then that's it's always the best way for anyone comes to me who says they want to be more confident. I challenge them to film themselves because that's how I learned. So again, I did 100 videos. That was me. You don't have to do it the same way, but I want you to film yourself. It could be just one simple video. It can be just a raw file, doesn't have to be edited. So I want you to introduce yourself. So the name, your city, and your current work. If you don't have a work right now, it's okay. Also, you can also describe who you want to be. So introducing yourself. So it could be for me. Hello, my name is Lai Lacaba. I am the virtual ate. I am from Tacloban City. I am currently living in Cebu City. My current work is I am the CEO of 2XU Executive Services. So you can start like that. It could be just that. You can keep it really simple. Next is I want you to describe what is your why. If you already have one, if you don't, you can say I am currently trying to find out what my why is, but I'm confident. Or I'm confident that I'm able to. I will be able to do that. So, what is your why? So, for example, for me, seriously, now I would say my why is I want to help millennials, Gen X, and Alpha generation to be able to work online, to learn how to work online safely, and to how to proceed that even while they're at school, they're able to earn money. That's my why. Then what is one scary thing you're willing to do? So your scary thing that you're willing to do is doing the video. You can say that. You can say the scary thing that I'm willing to do right now is doing this video. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm talking. So you're doing that. So for example, for me, what is one scary thing that I'm willing to do? I am willing to send out applications for more speakers, maybe, or doing more international speaking. So that's one scary thing that I'm willing to do to be able to gain more confidence. So I want you, if you're brave enough, you can post it on Facebook with the hashtag confident ate because you're becoming a confident ate. And then, of course, hashtag Fhmoms, and then tag my page, Lai Lacaba, and of course, the Fhmoms page. So this is my homework/challenge for you. And if you're not confident to film yourself and post it on Facebook, feel free to chat it to me. You can chat it to me, and I would give you feedback if you want, or you can just show it to me. Also, it's up to you what you would want to do with it. But this is our homework or challenge because I really want to help more Filipinos become more confident because everyone is so smart. All Filipinos are so smart. I've worked with a lot of different nationalities. Filipinos are just really fast, really quick to learn. When they're willing to do something, they're actually make it to the finish line. So I would love it to, again, grow more Filipinos to becoming more confident about themselves. So this homework/challenge, this is actually super easy. Well, super easy for me. It might be really hard for you, and that's okay. But this is something that I'm hoping that you are able to do. And of course, by the way, you don't have to do it in English. You can do it in Tagalog. You can do it in Bisaya also. I'll understand Bisaya because I'm in Cebu. So it can be super simple. Joe asks how to talk fluently like you po. Okay, one, I have American bosses. So when I'm talking to them, I have to talk to them in English. Two, inside of our office, we have an English only policy because exactly for this reason. It's for Filipinos to be able to be more confident speaking in English or even just speaking at all. And then three, I've done so many international speeches before that I had to be fluent in English. It was something that I kind of had to be, because of all of the different things that I had to go through with my life. Gigi says, send it to you first step by step before publicly posting it. Again, that's okay. You can send it to me. You can chat it either on my page or my own Facebook account. both are okay. I'm very mostly responsive with messages on Facebook. I do have times when I respond. I've actually blocked it out of when I want to respond to people because then it becomes too much. So yes, Gigi, feel free to send it to me first, and I would love to look at it. And you can tell me if you want me to give you feedback or to just for me to just watch it if it's good enough to post. It's up to you. So is this clear? Is the challenge or homework slash challenge clear to you all? Uh, Mun Muneth asks, EOP rin po ba yung film? What do you mean by EOP? Can you chat that below what EOP is? I feel the English policy in the office, no other languages allowed but English. Yes, because when you're dealing with international clients, it's really easy when you're confident in speaking in English because they also are able to understand you. Plus, if you are able to repeat back to them what the instructions are, it's easier for you to it's easier for them to know that they actually understood what they just told you. It's easier for to build a relationship that way as well. Okay, I'm just looking through the comments. Feel free to keep commenting also if you have any questions about the challenge, homework or challenge. For now, I wanted to actually say I wanted to do a prize. I might just give you some virtual ate swag. I'm not sure yet. I haven't actually fully decided this yet. But this is actually really one way that you can be a little bit more confident. Thank you so much, Angel. Thank you for thoroughly enjoying this session. I really wanted to deliver today. Yeah, like I said, for it's not English only. For the video, you don't have to speak only in English. That was just me because I did also want to build my international audience, so that's what I had to do. So for example, for my YouTube channel, I actually have audiences in the US and the UK, so I have to talk in English. Okay. Any other questions? So yeah, again, going back, it doesn't have to be English. It can be really short. It can be less than 5 minute video or 3 minutes video. Depends on how long it would take for you to introduce yourself. What is your why? What is the scary thing that you're willing to do? Yeah. Thank you so much, Sheila. Almost 2 hours and di naglilive. Thank you. That actually means a lot to me that you guys are still here. Okay, so I want to ask before I fully finish this whole session because I still have 2 more slides. One is very something that you all would like. What is your confidence level now compared to when we started? Marie asks, do you speak English also at home? Because if you're always speaking English, even at home. Okay, so no. That quick reply is no. I don't always speak English at home. My boyfriend of 9 years, like I said, we do sometimes speak English because we actually work in the same company. We've been together since I was in high school, but we ended up working in the same company. We sometimes do just out of habit because we're talking always in English in the office anyway, or we're doing meetings. But usually I talk in Waray. I just talk in my native language. I just talk in Waray or Bisaya to people. So yeah. What is the best tool that we use for video recording? Okay. For a year now, I've still been using my phone. Nothing else. I don't have a professional camera. I don't have a big, big bulky camera that I use. I still use my phone. This is a Huawei 3i. It's good enough. You don't have to get any cameras, any microphones. I still use the microphone for this phone. I'm really lucky that it's actually a really good recording device. When I started doing vlogs, I didn't have to buy a new camera or any new equipment. So just use your phone. It could be as simple as that, or you can use a webcam if you want to use just the webcam of your laptop. It's fine. Again, this is a kind of a boost for your confidence. So again, you don't have to buy any fancy equipment. Odex says then after the challenge. That's awesome. That's good. Rose says that she's a 9 on the confidence level. That's really good. Thank you so much, Joe. thank you for everyone for giving me feedback. That actually like makes you feel like good. That's giving me that's making me want to self hug myself. I'm like, yay, yay, Lian. See, self talk. Okay, but practice na para mag-pursue ng dream na nagpag-vlog. Yes. Okay, so this is a funny thing, by the way, on the vlogging. I've actually been vlogging for 3 years. I never posted any of them. So when I'm traveling, like I've been to my trips to Siargao, when I went to Hong Kong, went to Taiwan. I have vlogs of all of them. Never posted any of them. They're still all on my hard drive, mostly because I haven't had the time to actually edit them because it's about 10 hours of content. So I have to make them really, really short. Pero it was for me, it was practice. It was practice on holding the camera. It was practice on talking to the camera and not feeling self-conscious that people are looking at me in the train station. So yeah. Um, Thank you so much, Bing. Thank you so much for enjoying and then engaging also here. Okay, so now for the last few months, and if you've watched my other webinars before, I always do this where I give you recommended study. So yay to studying because you never stop studying after school. You have to keep learning. So some of these I already recommended in my other webinars, like the book How to Win Friends and Influence People, the book Mindset. I think I already showed you. This is my notes from How to Win Friends and Influence People. Um, I want to. This is something that you guys are already doing today. Is giving honest and sincere appreciation. But this is from the book How to Win Friends and Influence People. Um, you know, it's it's all about respecting other people's opinion. Never say that someone is wrong. It's like that. It has a lot of really good tips to talking to people, to being confident with yourself. So yeah. And then the book Mindset is just really good. It teaches you the difference between having a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. So you definitely don't want to be in a fixed mindset because you're kind of going to be stuck with where you're at. TED Talks, of course. Also, if you haven't heard of TED Talks before, you can go to YouTube and search just TED Talks. There's going to be a lot of really good and insightful videos on public speaking. That's actually my goal. One of my B hacks also is being able to do a TED Talk. So, of course, that it helps you be more confident. The book, The Magic of Thinking Big, helps you kind of daydream. That's the best way that I can explain that book. Is it helps you daydream. And of course, the book Think and Grow Rich. It teaches you that if you want to succeed in life, it teaches you that if you want to achieve anything, it starts with what you think about. It starts with the stories that you tell yourself. So thank you again for everyone for listening to me for the last 1 hour and 17 minutes so far. Thank you for enjoying. Thank you for being here. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for letting me know that I'm doing good. Again, that makes me feel really good. So, and I'm going to flip back because some of you might not have been able to catch this, but this is the recommended study if you want to pursue, being more confident. Um, I have our notes here, so I'll translate. So she says, "Nagko-Korean po ako pag baton ano tak passion." She's having a hard time trying to know what her passion is. That's okay. Okay. On finding your passion, and I could have elaborated on this a little bit, so it's a good thing. So it's kind of a question that you're saying that is when it comes to finding out what your passion is, you start with what you already like. You start with what are the things that you enjoy? What are your current hobbies? What are the things that you look up on YouTube? What is the things that when you're watching it, or when you're doing it, it makes you feel good. It makes you feel just happy. So for me, again, my passion started as writing, and now it's being able to coach. So it can shift, it can change. But when you're trying to find out what you're passionate about, you look at the things that you already are enjoying. You look at the things that you already are like to do. Where Florenda asks where to buy these books. Okay, so they're available on Amazon. So if you have a Kindle app, you can find them on Amazon. All of these books are in Fully Booked and National Bookstore. I bought them from there because in our side of our own company, all of these books are available in our company library. So you can buy all of this in Fully Booked or National Bookstore. Again, you can also grab it from Amazon as well and download it on your Kindle app because that's one way that I've been able to read. So if you want to buy any of these books, then that's where I recommend. I love this one from Rose. I used to record my answers with possible interview questions, and I love the part that I was able to watch and watch your live webinar. It makes me feel the old me in a good way. That's awesome. That's actually inside. Probably have seen this one here. My banner for Work Anywhere challenge. That's my own inside of virtual ate. Instead of my brand, I teach people how to work from home. One of the things I actually, as a homework, because I love giving homework to people, is when we come to the part where I'm teaching people how to be more confident in interviews, I actually say record yourself replying to an interview question, because most employers do video interviews, so you have to be ready for that. You know, don't act surprised if they ask you a very common interview question, because that's something that you could have had control over if you practiced. Okay. I love this. I love this quote. Thank you so much, Jersey, for reminding me of this quote of "Be hearty in your appropriation and lavish in your praise." I think I have that here. Even I think I went through it earlier. Like I said, I have my notes. I love my notes also. I can't find it. I saw it earlier when I was flipping through it. I don't know where it is anymore. Okay, but it's somewhere here. I know it's somewhere here. But thank you so much for reminding me of that quote so much, Jersey. Okay. Any other questions? Feel free to ask anymore. Are you being paid if people invite you for a talk? Maybe we can also someday be like that. Okay, I have not been able to be paid yet. I have not been able to be paid yet to when people invite me to do a talk. I'm more than happy to talk for free, because then I like talking. Even though again I'm an introvert. I haven't been able to get to the point, but I have been able to sell my services, like my coaching services or the services that our company provides during a speech. So that's something that you can do. Is instead of offering like, hey, you can say that, hey, you don't have to pay me, but can I sell my services? Because then, of course, it gives you way more. If someone was willing to pay you 5,000 pesos for to speak, but you have a course that's 5,000 pesos each, then it's better to do it for free and then sell your course or sell your services that way. So that's one way that I've been able to do it. I agree, Bing. Dale Carnegie books are so practical and excellent, so comprehensive. It is really easy to read. It's I've read 3 of his books, and it's all just easy to read. Okay. Any other questions from anyone? Because I would love to just clarify. I would love to just see what are the things that you might still be struggling with when it comes to confidence. Just kind of looking through. So Annie says English confidence and talking that fast. I talk really fast. Okay, honestly, I talk really fast because I watch most YouTube videos in 2 times speed. So sometimes I forget, especially during COVID, I sometimes forget how people actually sound. That's actually a true story where I sometimes forget like how people usually speak. So that's why. Anything else? Any other questions? Then feel free. And yeah, feel free to connect with me on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn. Also, I'm active on LinkedIn as well. I post a lot of my videos there as well, and of course YouTube. I'm almost at 2,000 subscribers. So if any one of you is interested in helping me get to 2,000 subscribers, that would just be awesome. Okay. Can you please give some interview question that were frequently asked by clients and how to answer it? Okay, so I actually already did a actually Mommy MK requested this video on my YouTube, and that was one of the first YouTube videos that I actually shared inside of Fhmoms. So I already did this video. You can check out on my YouTube channel. I have it below. The youtube.com/Lai Lacaba VA, as in virtual ate, where I already actually went through the top 10 interview questions and I answered them how I would answer them. So for example, let's say the question was, where do you see yourself in 5 years? So my answer with that would be, my answer would depend on what the position is. So let's say I was going to be hired as a social media manager, for example. The way that I would answer that question is, where I see myself in 5 years is that I've been able to fully grow and help the company grow their branding in a certain social media platform. It depends on what your specialty is. I'm going to repeat back. So where I see myself in 5 years is I would love to be able to help the company fully grow on the LinkedIn platform, to have been able to extend the reach of the company. And also for myself, I would love to see myself being able to travel to meet a lot of different people, to make connections for the company and for myself, to be able to be more confident in putting out the posts and making sure that I play to the algorithm, and making sure that I'm also someone who's constantly growing and seeing what other skills I'm able to do in that 5 years. So that's one. So it's, again, it's knowing that the question is coming, and in your head you're already preparing yourself how to answer that. Okay. Jonathan asks, also in Maray, how about introductory video for VA websites? I haven't. This is actually one of my plans, but I haven't been able to do a video on that yet. But I might actually, because I still haven't filmed my video for this Sunday. So, Jonathan, you've given me an idea of what to do for my next video. But I do have a list of 20 places that you can apply to. But inside of Fhmoms, we do recommend online jobs at PH and Upwork for places to start applying for jobs. But one funny one that I haven't seen enough, but I keep saying it over and over again in all of my videos, is Facebook groups are an amazing way to get hired. I've had multiple friends. I just tag them when someone says, hey, I'm looking for a logo maker, or someone who can make my website, or someone who can create the content. They just post it really nonchalantly on those Facebook groups. So if you're not keeping your eye on them, you might be missing opportunities because you're not watching them. How will you answer if someone asks you the same question? Position is team head. What do you mean if someone asks you the same question during an interview? Like, does that mean it's one person already asked the question and then someone else asked the same question? Is that what that means? Let me know, Joe. If that's the case, if someone already asked the question, and I'll kind of just repeat, I can say, like I said to Miss blah blah, this is my goal, and you can even add to it. If someone else asks in the same, let's say it's a panel discussion or a panel question, and someone else asks the same question that was already asked, I was just, like I said to Miss blah blah, this is my goal. This is what I want to be able to do. You can even expound more, because again, it's a question that was asked again. In other words, whenever it's a panel interview and they ask the same question again, that means that either one, they didn't listen, which is painful, but you can't really help it, or two, they need more. They want more information from you. That's why they're asking that question again. So just kind of repeat yourself. You don't be scared to repeat yourself. It's just something that you can take it and make it your advantage that they did ask that question again. Okay. Making sure that I didn't miss anything, because I saw a lot of chats come in earlier. Feel free if you're watching, if you kind of caught up at the end, feel free to rewatch the whole thing. This is going to stick inside of Fhmoms, so you don't have to feel that you have to really be here on the live. So Joe says we're to see you so 5 to 10 years from now. Yeah, that's what I mean. Just kind of repeat yourself. You can say, as I said to Miss, acknowledge it. It was a question that was already asked. Acknowledge it talaga. Don't kind of fluster. You don't say, oh, you already asked me that question. Acknowledge it. You say, oh, as I said to Miss blah blah blah, this is one, and then again you now have more space to expound on it. Okay, it's a question that was asked again. Okay, I guess that is it. We're now at the 1 hour and 28-minute mark. I enjoyed talking to you all. I enjoyed being here. I enjoyed giving you clarification and more confidence, hopefully, when it comes to doing video calls. Because that's the baby step for all of you, is being just more confident when it comes to video calls. Because if you're able to do that, then it's easier for you to be on camera, right? It's easier for you to express your ideas. It's easier for you to influence someone with your ideas. It's also easier for you to just be more confident with yourself, with how you carry yourself, how you talk to yourself, how to talk to other people about yourself. So feel free to chat me, to leave any questions here on this on the video, and I'll try to go through them as I see them on questions inside of the group. I try to answer them. If there's a lot, then it's harder for my Facebook to load them both on my mobile and my desktop. So if it's too many, feel free to just chat me on Facebook. So reminding you for the last time, on the before I fully go on the homework and challenge. Again, it's film yourself. It's introducing yourself, the name, the city that you're in, your current work, and then it's explaining what is your why, and then what is one scary thing that you are willing to do. So yeah, that's and then post it on Facebook with the hashtag confident ate so I can find it, and then hashtag Fhmoms, and then tag my page and then the Fhmoms page so we can see it. Or you can simply just chat. If you're not confident enough of posting it on Facebook on your account, then you can just send it to me also. You can chat it on my Facebook page or my account. Okay. Okay. We have a question from Jonaline. I hope live intro vid nakaulang pa pag-create ng account Upwork. So, what would be a good... Do I have an intervid somewhere? I think my intervids, when I do my intervid, I usually do it at the beginning of my videos for my YouTube channel. Like, hi, I'm Lai Lacaba, the virtual ate. So, yeah. Is there a deadline of submission? There's not really a deadline for the submission because it's kind of just open. I would love it if you did it before I do my next webinar on July, because I go live every month, first Wednesday. So before July 1, before July 1, hopefully you would already submitted it to me, but there's no hard and fast deadline. This is something that as you watch this video, as you're watching the replay, you can just at any time send the video to me or put it on Facebook and then tag me. Jonalyn says I'm translating the waray. I'm translating. In other places there are employers who asks for you to make a video. So I've done it. I had few weeks ago actually, because it was only a few weeks ago that I got a new assistant. I was hiring for assistant for myself, a personal assistant, and I actually required that you do an introduction video. So that is true. That some places ask you to create a video of yourself. Okay, so I guess I'll kind of give 5 more minutes if you have any more questions. If there's anything else that wasn't clear. Because I keep saying goodbye and then all of a sudden I get chats of questions. So yeah, I like that you all enjoyed the session. That feels good for me. That makes me want to hug myself. So if just feel free to chat me. I'm really friendly on I'm really friendly on Facebook, just like how I am now. Okay, so kind of waiting. I'm gonna check Facebook in case that there are any questions there that I haven't seen yet. I think that is it. I don't see any more questions and nothing else is coming in. So thank you so much to everyone who's watching. Thank you so much for commenting, for being here. I really, really appreciate that you took the time to watch this, and I will see you all on July 1. Feel free to also give any... I have a list of topics that I want to talk about, but feel free to list anything and the other topics that you want me to talk about soft skills, because that is really my focus, is the soft skills of not just having you have the skills to be able to work online, but to be successful in it, because soft skills is the way. It's not enough that you are a master or a 10 out of 10 in creating websites if you are a 1 out of 10 in your own confidence, in your own self. So thank you for everyone. And of course, thank you, Mommy MK, for letting me be here. And I look forward to seeing your videos. I look forward to seeing your homework. And I'll see you all again on July 1. Bye.